old clips that are now surfacing, and it's essentially depicting the Kamala versus Donald Trump discussion pertaining to the Micheal Jackson case. Now, I know a lot of you guys are new listeners to the show. We've gained a lot of new listeners over the last week. So in case you are like me and did not remember any details about the Micheal Jackson case, all you remembered was the media telling you incessantly that he was a pedophile, I highly recommend that you go back and revisit our episode 55, which we did looking into the Micheal Jackson case. It is stunning. Micheal Jackson was without question being set up by some very powerful executives because he was fighting for control over Sony. It's completely crazy about how the cases even came about. Literally, the first person who ever made an allegation against Donald Trump was drugged into the allegation by his own father. I'm talking about that crazy, and that his father eventually killed himself. It's nuts. It's nuts. Anyways, at the time that all of these accusations were coming up, it was very much the media versus Micheal Jackson because obviously the record execs had a lot of power over the media. They controlled the media at that time. Same story it is today, and why there are certain people who are protected. And so at that time, they were going around asking a lot of powerful people what their opinions were on the Micheal Jackson case. And one of those people who was asked was Kamala Harris, then the deputy city attorney in San Francisco. And here's what she had to say.
That could mean life in prison, and cases like this can depend on the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Ooh, betting against Micheal Jackson, who was eventually acquitted of all charges. But what's really stunning is when you juxtapose this to what Donald Trump said at the time, then just a real estate magnate. Take a listen.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people. She's had plenty of experience at going after people, and she goes after them viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, you know, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
It's just incredible. When you really look back on that, it just makes you love Trump even more because he was always standing up to the media complex. And that's really what it was that came down on Micheal Jackson. Like I said, the record execs had power and he was fighting them and he was winning against them. He was going to eventually control the Beatles catalog. Next thing you know, he ends up dead. He first gets accused of being a pedophile and his entire legacy is destroyed. With accusations that did not win in court. He, like I said, was acquitted. Go back, watch that episode that we did on him and inform yourself on that. But it's incredible to see that. And people are now replaying these clips and are feeling some type of way about Kamala Harris. And I think the majority of people just want to know, who is this woman? And who does she work for? Well, we left off on quite a...
What's wrong, Michael? I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it over the phone. I don't know what's going to happen. But I just feel in my God knows, they could shoot me. They could stab me. They could frame me and say I overdosed him with drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do these?
It's not the government. It's more than the government. But I don't know, Tita. I don't care. They can kill me. I don't even care my life anymore. I just want my children to be okay.
The key word today is